share. The topic today will be on honoring and obeying parents and the benefits of honoring and obeying parents. Um, I think now we know each other. I've been here before, but just in case there's somebody new, I am Anna Mwaure, Mrs. Mwaure. I am born again, and I am a parent, and I'm a child of parents. So I think the topic I'm given is relevant. So I will want to take some reading, and I would request some people to note the readings and read for us so that I don't do all the work of reading and sharing. I would want somebody to read for us from the book of Genesis, chapter 9, verses 20 to 27. Somebody can pick that, please. And somebody to pick one verse from Exodus 20, verse 12. Another one, there'll be quite a few readings. Another one is from Genesis 49, 8 to 12. And then Colossians chapter 3, verses 20, and Ephesians 6, 1 to 4. So let's start, please. Somebody from Genesis 9, 20 to 27. Okay, please. 9, 20 to 27. Yes. That's okay. Thank you. Thank you. Next one. Thank you so much, my sister. Thank you. Exodus 20, verse 12. Exodus 20, verse 12. Thank you very much. Genesis 49, 8 to 12. Genesis 49, 8 to 12. Thank you so much. Thank you, my young sister. And okay, two others from the New Testament, Colossians 3:20. taught us to. That is the first thing that we should do when we are with them. Then he even to the widows. Maybe widows in the house who don't have husbands. Go girls, I'm sure they are there. You have a husband in our Father who is in heaven. We have our shepherd who is our. In the book of Psalms 23, verse 1, Jesus or God is our shepherd. So we cannot do anything. And I hope we believe that because he's our shepherd, we cannot lack anything. He is, and shalom just means peace, a sense of not even the peace we know it, a total well-being. And so we have him as our peace. He is our Lord. He is our Adonai. He is our Emmanuel. He is the God with us. He is God Raphi. He is God our healer. He is God our everything. We can spend the whole day really. And anytime when I sometimes feel I don't know what to pray. There are times you wake up and you don't know what to pray. And I just start thinking of the attributes of God my Father. And I can pray even for 30 minutes or an hour. Just for thanking him, for who he is. He is everything. He's our provider, he's our healer, he's our shepherd, he's our husband, he's our father, he is everything. And so none of us can say today, well, yeah, that someone didn't refer to me because I really don't have parents, because all of us have a parent, have a father who is our everything. And so I really thank God for that. But now let's come down to the fathers, because God, whatever he does in heaven, he replicates it on earth. And so being our Father in heaven, he has also given us earthly parents, so that as we connect with him, we are also connecting with our parents on earth. And the way we treat our parents on earth, the way we view our parents on earth, is the way we will view our parents in heaven. And so it is important that we know how to relate with our parents on earth. And I found that all the cultures over the world, be they the civilized cultures like the where there is a lot of education, be they the ones where there is in remote areas, be it where people are so poor or where people are so rich, this concept of honoring, obeying, treating your parents in a special way, it's across board. It is all over the world. It is therefore important to, even for us to pause and think, have I taken my parents for granted, whether they are alive or not alive, or have I taken them the way God would want me to take them? And that's one thing that I find as I was looking at the commandment, the fifth commandment that somebody read for us, one of the sisters read for us from the book of Exodus chapter 20, that the fifth commandment, and it is the first commandment with a promise. It starts by saying that we must honor our father and our mother, that it may go well with us. That it may go well with us. So if we don't do that, the reverse of it then is that it will not go well with us. And I am aware that in the Western countries, there's a lot of rights, human rights, and especially the rights of the children. So I happened to visit my relatives who live in UK, and I realized that it's very difficult now for those countries to really have the concept of a parent because of their laws and their culture. Because if you try to discipline your country, if you try to discipline your child in the West, you trouble. And for example, the who has 7 years old, and so one day she was disciplining them, and it was very funny. She's a very interesting young lady. So she was disciplining them, behaving, and she said, then you don't expect them to honor you and to obey you, because what you want them to, what they want. And so she would really pinch them. And then she would hold their mouth and tell them, dare you cry? Because if they cry and the neighbors see them crying, the neighbors will call the police, the neighbors will call the social workers, and those children will be taken away, and that lady will be, she will be punished, or there'll be problems with that lady. So she would pinch them, and then hold their mouth. Now they know they cannot cry, they have to behave themselves. But it is a very, very difficult situation in the Western countries, and that's why we are seeing all kinds of things out there, because there are no the parents and children, Christian families, because of that. Right. Okay. It seems now that commandment should be, parents, obey your children that it may go well with you. And actually, it seems that is the case, because I've even interacted a lot with parents of teenagers. And you don't want to do anything wrong to make your teenager angry. Yes, we have teenagers in the house today. You want parents to really treat them well, that it may go well with you in your house. There will be no problems. There will be no sulking. There will be no issues. But that is not what it should be. Parents, as we share on the benefits of obeying and honoring your parents, we also as parents must take our positions. We must discipline our children in godliness, in beating the souls who had in Meru, I think. The mother, she came and she ate a half-eaten fruit. What was that fruit? Avocado of a mother. And the mother was so angry. She beat the ears. It was on TV. She beat the ear of the child. The child had wounds even at the back. It's the teachers who had to intervene. I'm not talking of that kind of discipline. I'm talking of godly discipline that is controlled, where you must, have rules. You must have boundaries so that you don't know which way to go and how far to go. But let's not also let them just go because of the human rights, which are coming in Kenya apparently. But we have to trust God, keep praying, to keep praying that we will do the right, then the children will also do the right thing. That all of us are children of a parent, whether they are gone or not gone. And even if they are gone, we have spiritual parents. And I'm also talking of spiritual parents because they are important to us. They are very important to us. I know Apostle always talks of a spiritual father, and I really admire the relationship he has with a spiritual father. So it is important that we take note that we must obey our parents, not because necessarily of fear for those who have your parents and you live with your parents, not because you fear your parents, not just because of human affection that, oh, it's my mother or it's my father, but because it is in reference to God. It's because God orders it. He says you must obey your mother and your father that it may go well with you and you may live long in the land your God has given you. It's not something that is very small and light. Because if God himself says that it may go well with you, he therefore knows that if you do not obey this authority that he has given you, it will not be well with you. So that is one benefit, one main benefit that is God-given, that it will go well with you when you obey your father and your mother. And you see, the Bible is very clear. It talks of both parents, both father and both mother. So you are not exempted from any. You are supposed to obey them, both of them, except in that would contravene God's laws. So of course, if they are telling, if you are a young girl, and we have cases like that, where your mother is telling you, go and sleep out there and bring me money. Obviously, you are not supposed to obey her. You need to see how, how to make do with it. Still honor her, still honor your father if he's the one forcing you to do that, or to go and sell changa or something, so that you bring them money. And there are cases which are like that. So in case you are contravening God's laws by obeying your parents, then I'm sure the Lord would in all things. So I would really imagine and believe that what contravenes the rules of God, who is the Father of fathers, as we have also read, then that time God will show you ways and means of not having to do that. So when we talk of going well with you, that it may go well with you, I was trying to think in which ways can I say it's going well with you. I think when you see a person who is blessed, you will know that person. And I'm talking of a wholesome blessing where you have good health, because you obeyed your parents, because by obeying your parents, you're obeying God, because this is a commandment that God gave. So I'm thinking of good health, that it may go well with you. You may experience good health, and you may experience even material blessings, prosperity, and you can see there are people who really are struggling. And I'm thinking today of a young lady who just did her degrees some years back, and that young lady, she's a godly person, but I don't know what her chemistry does not seem to really agree with her mother's chemistry. The mother seems not to feel her daughter at all. She's a very pleasant daughter, according to me, because I know her, but they never seem to agree. And the mother keeps saying, using words, negative words towards the daughter, like, you will not make it. You don't seem to be doing anything to make your life count. And she has other children, younger children than that daughter, and she keeps praising the other children and saying, look at so and so, she doesn't have education like yours, but she's doing well. So unfortunately, this lady, whatever she tries to do, it never works. She gets a job. She had got a job in church recently, and then she just left it, just like that. Then she started doing business. Talking now, the business collapsed with a big loan from that business. So right, she had moved from her mother, but now she's back to be abused by the mother, to be down by the mother, but she's just there. So I would say, unfortunately, the Bible says that the tongue has power over life and death, or the power of life is the tongue, of the tongue. Yes. So the mother may not know. I'm not saying the girl is disobedient, because to me, I don't know how they live, but she looks a very pleasant girl. But because of the words the mother keeps saying to her, her life has not been well. In fact, I was just sitting and thinking, maybe I should call her now and take her to be prayed for deliverance or something. I don't know. But I'm just giving examples that even as parents, also it's good we watch what we say about our children, because we have that authority from God. We have that authority from God. And I remember when our children were growing up, in fact, we were talking about it this week and making fun of it. We would go to their rooms every morning and every evening, and we would be speaking Deuteronomy 28 verses 1 to 14 over them. You will be the head, not the tail. So they said that anytime we enter the room, sometimes they would cover their heads because they want to sleep. But we are going to disturb their sleep, blessing them. But they are reaping the benefits right now because they are adults and they are moving on well. So it is important also to realize that as parents, we have so much power over our children. And so the same rule that it may go well with them when they obey the parents. Also, us as parents, let's be careful how we bring them up, what we say to them, even when you feel so angry and you want to say a negative word to your child, let's be careful and just hold it and pray for them, because we have a lot of authority over these children. And then also we read on, and we see that the Bible says that it is right when we obey our parents. It is right. I think that was from the book of
Ephesians. For this pleases the Lord, and then it is right. So I was also looking at it that it is the law of God. The Lord's law is that you obey your father and your mother. It says it is right. Not that, it is an option. You can obey. You don't have to. No. It is a must and it is right. So once again, as we are thinking of our parents, be they physical, the biological parents, be they the spiritual parents, be it even God, our Father, it is the right thing to do. And so we must obey them. And when we obey it, and it pleases God, because it also says, the Bible also says it pleases God. When we obey our parents, it pleases God. And when we please God, we have seen the benefits we will get. We have benefits of everything, things going well with us. We have talked of health. We have talked of material blessings. We have talked even of you being blessed together with your family. And you remember the reading we read from the book of Genesis chapter 9, the story of the sons of Noah. If we can just check on that. It was read for us. So we have a gentleman called Noah, who we know was really a man after God's own heart, man full of faith. But now towards the end, we are told how he drank wine and then he exposed himself. He was naked. And his sons, especially the younger son, Ham, he saw the nakedness of the father. And instead of behaving with decorum, he exposed his father's nakedness. And my prayer is that for us who are in this room, whatever state our parents are in, whether they are old, whether they are not very educated, we are not supposed to expose our parents' nakedness like Ham did. And the nakedness could be anything. Maybe they are poor. You're not supposed to expose their nakedness. You're supposed to cover them. You're supposed to help them. There are parents who are out there up country, and I'm sure you may know some. Their children are here in Nairobi or in some other towns. They are doing well, but the children are not taking care of their parents. They are exposing them, like this young man did. And we see that without a doubt, Noah came to know that his young son had exposed his nakedness. And so he cast his children's children. I'm not sure why. I don't have the theology as to why Noah did not cast Ham, but he cast Canaan, the son of Ham. So, but what I would draw from that is that when we do not take care of parents, even our generations will not be blessed until somebody rises from that lineage and breaks the curse. But if we don't do that, or if your parents did not honor their parents, may struggle from what you're going through. Thank God, because Jesus came to break every curse. So we can pray and break any curse that may have come, probably because we did not, or our parents or our grandparents did not honor their parents. And so I would say that we can take the role of breaking the curses ourselves. Like the it came to his child Canaan. And we can read later on in the book of Leviticus that Canaan and God was telling the children of Israel to take care they do not mix up with the practices of Canaan, which were immoral practices. And so there was us because his son was naked. May God that we will not expose our parents' nakedness, be it even in the way they are. Maybe some of our parents, they speak so badly. Maybe they do some bad things. And so you go telling everybody who cares what your father does. It is not the right thing. The right thing is to honor your parents, no matter how they are. Pray for them. If you can talk to them or talk to people who can talk to them, then you can do that because they are your parents and you're supposed to cover their nakedness. I remember my father when he was alive. I was very close to my father. He was a man who had a big family. We were about 45 of us children alone, of one man. Yes. Over actually, maybe 47. I'm not even sure now, I've lost the count. But I was very close to my father. For some reason, I think God just to be close to him. Because when I hear my big brothers and big sisters talking about what they went through, there would be bad stories, you beat them, trying to put discipline. When you are trying to discipline 47 children, it's not easy. So he was very harsh, but I was very close to him. But I remember one time in particular, just the other day when we were married and all that, there was something that he did and to my mother. My mother passed on and thing that happened, and we were very angry with him to do with my mother. We were the whole family was very, and they decided, we didn't talk about it, but we were not going to relate with my father anymore because we were angry with him. So we stayed for a while without going to see him. But I remember one time, in fact, I remember it was around Christmas. I just requested my husband, can you take me? We go and see my father. And, I was among the youngest in that lot. But I felt it is not right that I don't see my father. My mother has gone. She has passed on. He's still my father. Despite everything, he's still my father. So we went. He was accommodating enough, so we went. And we bought him some things, and we took them. And when we went, I didn't want my sisters and brothers to know that I have gone. Because now they will find I'm a traitor. I mean, we have agreed. Basically, we have not talked about it, but we have agreed we have nothing much to do with him because of the way he treated, my mother's burial and all that. But we went and we talked, and I always remember, I don't know whether my husband can remember, but I always remember one thing he said is that, now your mother has died, and I saw a parent. It's like he was feeling so sorry for himself, and I also a parent. And I believe because of continuing to hold on to my father, despite having behaved badly, because he really actually behaved badly, despite all that, we stood on together and we continued praying for him. He didn't know the Lord. For a long time, he was a big man. He was a minister in the government. So he was a big man. And so we kept, and he didn't have anything much to do with God. But we kept praying. Personally, I prayed for him for 10 years before he passed on. And I would tell the Lord, let my father not go to the grave before he knows you. And so we continued praying even after that episode. And then one day, just a few months before he went to be with the Lord, he was very sick. And he was in the ICU, and we went to see him. And I knew, I don't think my father is making it, and I have not heard his testimony that he is saved now. I don't know what to do. And I was getting very distraught and wondering now, is he going to go before he knows the Lord? But when he was in the ICU, because God says he saw a dream. He said he saw a dream where he was going to a tunnel with fire, and he went in, but he just got into that tunnel with fire. And when he got in, now he wanted to be saved. And pastors were called. I wasn't even around that time. I think we had gone to Mombasa. Pastors were called. They came, they prayed for him. He gave his life. When we came back, we realized now he had even come out from the ICU. He was in the main ward, and he had given his life completely to God. And he actually even had an opportunity to go back home, and he stayed there for a while. And for about 3 months, we even visited him. Now the whole family, even those who used to say they don't want anything to do with him, we visited him. He blessed all of us. And the last thing he told us is that, I pray, because we were very many, I pray that one day I'll see all of you in a village. Maybe God will give us a village in heaven. He was a very humorous person. maybe God will give us a village in heaven because we were many. And within a few weeks, a few months, he passed on. So it is so important not to uncover your parents' nakedness, because we could have continued being angry with him because of what he had done to our mother, and then he may have lost eternal life. But now I am so sure, I have no doubt in my heart that when I go to heaven, I will find my father. And so I thank God. And I might say the same thing also about my husband and his mother. And I told him in the morning that I think he was also very close to his mother. The mother also passed on about 3-4 years ago. And I believe that the benefits we are reaping as we see even our children growing in the ways of God and getting to serve God, because our children are also serving God, it's because of persisting to cover our parents' nakedness and being close to our parents. They are not perfect, and nobody will be a perfect parent. I am not a perfect parent at all. If you ask my children, we are not perfect. But there is the rules, the regulations of God that we parents. I remember, again, if I talk about my mother-in-law, and God always gave me an opportunity to relate with my parents just before they would go to be with the Lord. I remember when she had moved to Thika. We went to see her just about, the Lord just got us to quickly go and see her, and she was not sick as far as we knew. We just went, and we went with all the children. They were available that day, and we all went to see her. And we talked and she cooked for her, and she seemed very well and very, very, upbeat about life. And I remember as we were leaving, there were some visitors who came to see her, and she told them, a couple, a man and a woman, she told them, she told my children in the presence of that couple, I want you to take care of your mother now of me, because she has always taken care of me. Because even when I was in Molo, she used to live in Molo, then she moved when there was the clashes. Even when I was in Molo, she used to even give you a car and you would come and see me. So I want you to take care of your mother. I didn't know why she was talking like that. I think she knew they will take care of the father, but she wanted specifically to talk about me. And so we left. We prayed and we left. That was a Sunday. We called and we were told my mother-in-law is very unwell. They are bringing her to Nairobi. So they brought her to Nairobi. Do you know, within a few hours that Friday, she just passed on as she was being wheeled in to go to hospital at MP Shah. She just passed on. And so I believe that even those acts we do to our parents, they may not need them. You may feel my parent does not need anything from me. They are okay. My mother-in-law was very comfortable. There are times she would even come and give me money, take this money and help to pay for the children's school fees. We have the money, but she would give us. So what I'm saying is that she was not that needy. But the fact that we would take the time to go see her, we would take the time to go take her some gifts, that talked to her a lot. And towards the end, the final word she talked about was to bless me and to ask my children to take care of me. And so I thank God for that. And as I talk of her, I think of Ruth and Naomi. And that's a lady really, really touches my heart. That despite the fact that she was a foreigner, despite the fact that she knew where she is going with Naomi, there is nothing. There's no man there to marry her. Because I'm not painting a beautiful picture for you. I have nobody to take care of you. So what are you coming for? But she insisted and said, no, I am coming. And so today I know we have stories of mothers-in-law in the room, and you will have many. And I'm going to be a mother-in-law soon by the grace of God. And my prayer is that I am going to be a good mother-in-law like Naomi, a good mother-in-law like my own mother, because my own mother was a real good mother-in-law to my sister-in-laws and my brother-in-laws. To my husband here, she really used to respect my husband and the other men who have sisters and sister-in-law. The story of Naomi and Ruth is a real story we can learn, because it's sometimes easier to love your mother and your father. But what about your mother-in-law and your father-in-law? You know, they are also your parents. Some of you are going to get married. Please don't go to your marriage with this attitude of a mother-in-law. You can get a lot of blessings from your mother-in-law. A lot of blessings. And I know my mother is mother-in-law, and a lot of blessings will come your way. And also, as we think of Jesus Christ, we read in the book of Luke 2:51 that Jesus, he submitted to his parents. Jesus went back with his parents, he submitted to them. And we are told that he grew up being in favor